obviously going to have to talk about Brexit. We've got no choice. It's the only thing that's happening, apparently. If you look at the UK news, wall to wall, Brexit. Or rather, not Brexit. Because it's just as predicted, as everyone knew, it's going ferociously tits up. In the UK Parliament, again, you guys know all this, but let's have a brief recap before we start with the petty shit that we enjoy most of all. In the UK Parliament, Boris has suffered some defeats, the most important of which being they're putting through legislation to block a no-deal Brexit, to take that completely off the table. Dreadful idea. Much adored by those who don't want Brexit at all. Okay? So what Boris Johnson threw out there was, look, if you put this through, that's it. I want to, have a general election. A general election. But to call a general election, you need a majority in Commons. The Labour Party abstained from the vote. Now, I've got precious little time for the Tories. They've done terrible things to this country. The arrogance of Jacob Rees-Mogg, all the other shit, okay? Shit. But Jeremy Corbyn has been demanding a general election for fucking years. Fucking years, demanding it. And now that someone says, okay, let's have an election, he's like, don't want one. Fuck you. Don't want it. Do you know why? Because they know there's a very good chance they will lose to a Brexit coalition. Now they're saying, well, we want the election after we've passed this legislation, after we've forced Boris Johnson to go and get another extension to Article 50, then we'll have the general election. Because they think then maybe they'll win. But if they lose, Boris Johnson's got to try and repeal the bill and push it through, and it's just kicked further and further and further down the road to all those saying how damaging a no-deal Brexit would be. And it wouldn't be a walk in the park, okay? There would be problems. But this continuous shitstorm, this continuous nonsense is incredibly bad for the country. It's incredibly polarising to the people. Our politicians are a fucking embarrassment. Have you watched Parliament TV? These are the people running our country. They're all fucking assholes. Every last bastarding one of them that I saw on the TV. They're all championing the idea there'll be no Brexit, and that the poison this is creating is being utterly vented. However, just before we go on to a little more of this, something popped up that warmed my heart to show that the true spirit of Great Britain, is still alive. What it is to be an Englishman. Imagine meeting a man you disagree with on every level. You will tell people that you detest. How does an Englishman deal with this? Well, a tweet came on the timeline from someone called Alex Andreou. I'm not sure who Alex Andreou is. He's at Sturdy Alex. But he posted this clip, which I believe was from the BBC. Here we are. I've got it up on Twitter. Now, obviously, we got Boris Johnson there. The chubby, scruffy tearaway. On the right, we have a man, and this is how he told Boris Johnson what he thought. Isn't it wonderful that in this age of massive polarisation and people hating each other and detesting each other and being angry with each other, have a listen.
I will very soon.
Please leave my town.
I will very soon.
Please leave my town.
I will very soon.
That's it. He shook his hand, said, please leave my town. Boris Johnson said, I will very soon. And then the chap just patted him on the shoulder. That's how we English should be dealing with it. Not sat on Twitter, sniping at each other like fucking ill-informed idiots. Stiff upper lip. Pride. Gentlemanly conduct. Of course, then you go on Twitter and that all changes. But I've not said hello to Atomic Waster. Or Sidewalk Closed. Hello, guys. So please leave my town. I will very soon. I told him. But the poison's been getting absolutely incredible. Now, the BBC have put this that the Prime Minister has been warned that the high chance of no-deal court papers turning up. That's right, it's not enough that we're kicking Brexit further down the road so far we can't see. It's not enough. It's not enough that we're going to take no deal off the table and hamstring any possibility of a reasonable deal being reached. Not enough. No. It's got to be stamped out, and Gina Miller is the lady to do it once more. Yes, as it says here, courtesy of the British Broadcasting Corporation, Boris Johnson was warned that there was a high chance he would fail to get a new deal with European Union over Brexit. Documents show, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. Basically, Ms. Miller is doing everything she can to prevent Brexit happening. They failed at one, whether she tried to get him to stop proroguing Parliament, but it's still going. It's still going. Gina Miller really, really, really does have a dislike of Brexit in general. Now, some people are saying, she says it's only for, I just believe in fairness, and I believe in transparency. I believe in parliamentary sovereignty, the British democratic system. She believes in it. That's all she wants. That's all she wants. That's why she's spending all this money in court. There's nothing else that she wants to do. She just wants transparency, decency. Which is why this from 2017, Gina Miller launched a crowdfunding website to raise cash for her efforts to support candidates who campaign for a real final vote on Brexit. And remember, she wants more transparency, more democracy, a democratic England, Britain, United Kingdom. She did this by setting up a donation system where anything under £500 could be from a foreign national and anonymous. That's right. Transparent. Democratic. But she's the fucking champion of Remain. Imagine. I mean, everyone screams about the Leave campaign and their donations. But it's alright for her to do this. Thousands upon thousands of pounds was raised by 11,000 backers. 330 grand or more was raised in 2017. Forgotten. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that these were donations from foreign nationals to influence British politics directly. Doesn't matter. The same way we'll ignore the fact Jeremy Corbyn was once paid £20,000 to appear on Press TV. Press TV. I have no problem with him going on Press TV. But you can't then come out and bitch at other people for doing things for foreign governments, can you? If you get paid 20 large, and he said it was great because he had a chance to bring up human rights abuses. So to get this straight, the Iranians paid him £20,000 to give them shit about human rights abuses. I struggle with that. See, I had a pop at Jeremy Corbyn on Twitter. I had Corbynites hanging out of my notifications, just constantly. How I'm ill-informed, I'm giving out Tory talking points, blah, blah, but it was all truthful. It was all the truth. Jeremy Corbyn does cozy up to terrorist organisations such as Hamas and Hezbollah. And then they say, well, no, you're being just, far-right dickhead, okay? You've got to get round the table and talk with people for peace. Sorry, dickhead. If you want peace, you have to include Israel. It's like talking to Israel and ignoring Hezbollah and thinking, why isn't this peace process working? But if all you're going to do is demonise one and talk to the other, you're not talking for peace. You're actively supporting one against the other. Exactly the shit that Corbyn supporters would have a go at the United States for, or the UK for. If you're going to have peace talks, you need both sides to be engaged. That's how this shit works. I'm sick and tired of the excuses. You wouldn't tolerate for 1 second people giving these sort of shithouse excuses regarding Boris Johnson or Ian Duncan Smith or any of that dreadful Tory shite, would you? No. But for Jeremy Corbyn, yeah, he's got a few flaws. Yeah, such as he leads the only party outside of the BNP to be officially investigated for institutional racism. Anti-Semitism in the case of Labour, which Corbynites are really struggling because they're supposed to be leftists and liberal. They are not liberal. But so many of them post how it's just, it's just an Israeli conspiracy. It's just, they will deny an ethnic minority their right to say they feel abused. They feel discriminated against. But they would never do that to anyone else. You would never dream of doing that to a Muslim or a black man. You would never dream of saying, you can't feel discriminated against. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's just Saudi influence, Iranian influence. I'm sick and tired of the fact that in the UK, my two choices to vote for will be a scruffy, lying oaf on the side of the Tories and an old tramp-looking bastard who does appear to smell of piss. I'm sure he doesn't, but he has that kind of thing about piss and body odour and feet. How can I choose? And who else do I choose? The Lib Dems? No. They are terrible. Who the fuck do I vote for? And I've been told that I should vote for the Tories because they put through Brexit, but that's one issue. What about all the other bad shit that comes with them? They've put us through years of needless austerity. Needless. There was no need for it. It achieved nothing that couldn't have been achieved without it. But I can't vote for Labour because their leader is terrible. They've got their own institutional problems with racism in the form of anti-Semitism. And they've got crackpot ideas like forcing all companies with more than 250 employees to give 10% of the shares to the people they already pay to work for them. Fucked. I don't know who to vote for. We got Gina Miller acting here. We got this one acting over there. We got Cummings whispering in Boris's ear. I don't know what to do anymore. Our government is the worst embarrassment it's ever been. I thought Theresa May was embarrassing. But what's happening in Parliament now is disgraceful. It's disgraceful. Simple fact. Very simple fact. People say nobody voted for no deal. You didn't have the majority. Here's the thing. 52% voted to leave the European Union, and they were told on no uncertain terms, we will leave on this date, deal or no deal. They were told that. The nation was told that, and it's conveniently been forgotten and pushed over and dressed into, oh, if you voted leave, you're a racist. If you did that, you're this, you're that. And you got Gina Miller raising money from fuck knows who to compound that and make it worse. We've had Remainers in charge of the Brexit process. Europe, the EU, not Europe. Got to stop saying Europe because Europe's really cool. It's the EU that is shit. The EU must be rubbing their grubby hands together over this, knowing that this is turning out exactly as they wanted to. Because remember Ireland, when they had a vote regarding something to do with the EU, do you remember that? Go look it up. When they said no, they made them fucking vote again. And I was told, well, that's because we could inform them better this time. So that's the problem. A lot of Remainers take this position of having superior morals and intelligence. And somehow, if you've looked at all the same facts and disagree, you've not really looked. You need to really do your research. I'm sick and tired of being told that. Every conspiracy theorist tells me that. You need to do your research. What, some sweaty wanker on YouTube trying to convince me aliens did 9/11? Get to fuck. That's not research. That's just your way of having a tug because YouPorn doesn't do it for you anymore. Fuck that action. But they'll tell you that and they'll do it, and that's what I got bombarded with last night. Look, Brexit is a catastrophic clusterfuck. It's a disgraceful mess. It's gone on far too long, and it needs to stop. But it won't, because the media are too invested in convincing us that's wrong. And it's never ending, the bombardment. And the other problem is, and I was talking with Graham about this, and he made the point, and he was spot on. I'm going to put his little picture in so you can see his smiling face while I say this. These people on Twitter act like they're part of a massive social movement. Like, look, we're billions strong, and there's like 4,000 of them. In the real world, no one gives a fuck about your Twitter outrage. Journalists only report on it because it's a cheap and easy way of filling column inches, generating some clickbaity fucking headlines, and getting people biting and getting all the round of applause from the fucking pricks that read it. Someone told me with a straight face that The Guardian was a neutral outlet the other day. And when I disagreed, they said, well, perhaps only people who can read newspapers in a foreign language would understand. What a cunt. What a terrible, terrible cunt. I can't believe someone would say that and think you're not going to come back going, what kind of cunt are you? I never got to find out because, like many of the others, I was blocked. But, you know, it beggars belief. And I'm veering back to social media, and I need to avoid that because I already think it's the devil. So yeah, now with Brexit, we're looking at, what is it, January?
Yeah, end of January. January 31st.
And they've got Boris well and truly boxed in. Now, but there is something. Theoretically, he could refuse to go to Europe and ask for an extension. Theoretically. He could also win an election and unpick everything that's been done. It's not over yet, but it's not well.
No, well, an election was always on the cards, wasn't it? Because no matter what his approach, no matter what, so everyone's going on about him being defeated, but it's like, yeah, but he didn't have the numbers from day one. This isn't some great surprise. He's been defeated based on parliamentary mathematics that was handed to him after Theresa May's cock-up in 2017. He needs an election. Of course he does. Everyone does. Everyone needs an election. Labour, everyone needs an election.
Labour don't want one now, though, do they? After years of demanding one, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And what does he say? Well, I'm not dancing to his tune.
The reason they don't want one is because not leave isn't winning the polls. No deal is consistently winning polls now. Not even leave. Not even like, and all this nonsense about, well, no one voted for no deal. And it's like, well, we're
yes,
at about...
they did. We were told.
We're at about 45% at the moment. 45% consistently.
Have
people saying, I want no deal.
Have you seen how many of those politicians have... The people that voted them in voted leave. And they're ignoring them because it's like, oh, well, I know that's what you want, but I know best. Now, here's another thing that's really fucking boiling my piss about all this. We talk about who's getting money from this one, who's getting money from that one to do this, who's getting money from him to be pro-Leave. You know, at least the politicians are fighting against it. Go and have a look. Do your own research, because it's no good me pointing, not you, Graham, everybody. Go and have a look how many MPs are beneficiaries of EU subsidies. Go and fill your boots. I think it's over 40 of them. Coincidentally, they're voting Remain. Michael Heseltine gets something like nearly £1 million a fucking year in EU subsidies for his farm. Of course he doesn't want to leave the fucking EU. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody else. He doesn't care about you. He cares about that. But again, every team's got to deify the people on their side, and it's not exclusively Remain. It's just Remain are the most whiny, loudest of them. I'm not talking about those other people that have, like, we're full in their profiles and lots of England flags. They're not worthy of very much attention either. But the problem is you can't completely ignore them, because that's how you find yourself out on your ass with a parliament and you really don't fucking want. And that's a problem that they're facing now. Because what they're doing is, we're going to be victorious, we're going to win, but is there really a win here? Because they're all assuming that they are the loudest voice, that the vote will always go their way because of what's happening in Parliament. But that swing further right, because the Tories will get in bed with the Brexit Party, guys.
Yeah, and even if they don't, 45% is enough for a landslide victory. That is enough for a phenomenal majority.
I think... The people celebrating wildly the events of the last 24 hours are about to... they could be in for a really, really unpleasant wake-up call very, very soon.
No, I agree with you.
Then they'll really have something to bitch about when we're stuck with fucking 12 years of Tories.
Here's the thing, right? It was obviously already happening behind the scenes, but Farage has come out openly and said that he'll do deals. He'll deselect people in certain seats and things like that. He's already saying it because he knows there's certain parts of the north where Conservatives do not stand a chance. So he's saying, right, well, ultimately, Farage would be over the fucking moon with like 30 MPs.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
wouldn't he
He'd
just?
be over the fucking moon. So if he can sit down with him and say, look, well, I tell you what, I'll only run in these 50 places. Basically, you can have the South. That's what it is. I'll take the North, you take the South. And that's the way it's going to go. And I don't think you're going to get that between Labour and Lib Dems.
Well, someone's just asked in chat. I thought they were going to filibuster that new law. That's people assuming the House of Lords is in any way different to the Houses of Parliament. It's not. They say the elites want Brexit because of disaster capitalism, which we've already shown there's other MPs benefiting greatly from EU memberships that the rest of us don't benefit. But it's the elites that want Brexit. But is it really? Because why aren't we getting it? You're going to tell me it's because of Jeremy fucking Corbyn? The elites want to keep us in Europe. That's where we belong. I'm sure Richie said something similar this morning. That's where we belong. That's where they want us.
Well, it's people point at Rees-Mogg's company a lot, don't they? And a lot of it's nonsense. But yeah, I would expect that if his company is a financial company, then yes, it's going to be short in the pound and all this nonsense because that's its fucking job. But ultimately, the EU protects big business. Big business donates to politicians. If you're going to go down the route of like who gains financially, it's easy to look at someone like Rees-Mogg and go, but it's a little bit more difficult, as you've just said. Go look it up. Who benefits, not just from the EU subsidies, which obviously are corrupt as shit, but just straight up support. That's been Labour Party's problem, isn't it?
Nicholas, all those Tory MPs had the whip taken away from them. And one of them was Nicholas Soames. So I commented on a news article on Twitter in my usual deep thinking manner. I just went, oh, well, what a shame. And someone said to me, is that all you've got to say after he's given a lifetime of service?
Oh, fuck off.
Service?
He'll be back in. It's all fucking theatre.
But he's a fucking Tory MP. Who has he served?
I know, yeah.
Who has he fucking served apart from himself and his paymasters? Come on.
I wonder a week ago you would have said the name of him and said, what do you think of this Tory MP? And they would have gone, fucking Tories. Now, Jess Phillips did the same thing, didn't she?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've pointed this out. Look at Tony Blair, dude.
Yeah.
0 to hero for opposing Brexit because we can overlook his flaws. That little flaw like pushing an illegal war that killed over 1 million fucking people. The guy's a war criminal. But because he's anti-Brexit, you know what? I've always liked Tony Blair.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck off. Because I'm pro-Brexit, but I don't like Jacob Rees-fucking-Mogg. I don't like Boris Johnson. Nigel Farage turns the pit of my fucking stomach over. But I don't make it about that. I'm not going to forgive them their sins because they might give us Brexit. It doesn't excuse them. Stop doing this shit. This shit's wrong. This shit is fucking wrong. There's no integrity. At least those MPs are putting country before their career. Fuck right off.
Yeah. No, are they fuck? Are they fuck? No. Ultimately, I think I honestly think whether it's conscious in them or not, they are terrified of actually governing this country.
Oh yeah.
They've been off it for so fucking long now because ultimately governing means taking hard decisions and it means being unpopular. And they're all playing the populist game at the moment, and they have been doing for a long time. Everyone's going on about far right populism and all that. That's all they fucking do is do the populism thing, because of social media, because of the way the media is at the moment. That the whole thing is that nobody sits down anymore and just talks for an hour. But that's the thing with Bernie. He went on Joe Rogan. And he sat there lying his ass off, talking absolute bollocks, right? But because he sat there for a long time just talking, his support went right up.
Of course he did. But did he tell where he was going to plant the money trees? I really like to know where Bernie's going to plant the money trees.
He loved it. A couple of comments for us. Cup of Tea says that everyone loves Brexit apart from Gaylords. So there we go. That's sorted that out.
That should be on a T-shirt. Leave that with me.
Yeah, that could be a good T-shirt. Ian Cam said, when no deal is off the table, there will be an election. It's a House issue, not just Labour. Boris is fucked from day one.
Guy, dude, you're assuming he's going to lose. I'm not convinced that's the case at all. Labour are a fucking shambles. They're a disgrace. Jeremy Corbyn's a prick.
Going to lose what? An election?
Yeah, I think because he says Boris is fucked. What if he wins and gets a majority?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he thinks Boris is fucked at the moment, like we were saying before.
Oh, right now he's practically hamstrung at the moment. The options are pretty slim, but
yeah, and he knows. And it's funny as well when people are like, "Oh, you know, however many 20-something MPs that lost the whip," and they're like, "Oh, where's your majority gone now?" And it's like he already didn't have it. Fuck it. You know they're talking as if he actually had the ability to pass anything. Nobody can pass anything at the moment. The only thing that gets through is these bills going, well, we want to make the decisions, actually. That's the only stuff that gets through.
Well, that's the problem. They pass the bill saying we want to make the decisions, but never make the fucking decisions.
I know.
We need no deal as an option. We need it. Like it or not, we need it. And I think that's the only way we'll ever leave the EU, because the deals we've had so far were not leaving the EU. Not even close. They were just putting us in an even worse position. So no deal is de facto the only position to leave the EU. And it will be very uncomfortable. But when did people get this idea that everything should be fucking easy? Lee says, your opinion then, Hayden. Do you think taking the whip for 21 MPs was good or too hard? Fine by me. Fuck the lot of them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
I want every MP on fucking performance-related pay. Every single bastard in one of them. You know, and if they don't perform, let them go to a fucking food bank to feed the kids. Shower a fucking worthless shite. No, fuck them. Take the whip. Use a whip on the bastards. In fact, one better. In the mincer. In the fucking mincer. That's where Boris dropped down. Vote against me, you go in the mincer. Vote again. In the mincer. There you go.
I just